Okay, so let's unpack this. Have you ever wondered which games truly attract, like, the sharpest minds? You know, the ones that feel like a real workout for your brain, where every single move counts. Today we're diving headfirst into exactly that question. Which games really draw in and challenge the most intelligent players? Our mission for this deep dive, really, is to look at the research, the psychology, the real-world stuff, to understand this undeniable link between high intelligence and certain games. Think of this as your shortcut to figuring out not just which games, but why they attract these players and what it all tells us about intelligence itself.
Yeah, it's a really captivating area because what we're seeing isn't just fun in games, right? It's this deep connection between how a game works and specific cognitive strengths. And when we talk about sharp minds here, we're mostly talking about what IQ tests measure. Intelligence quotient. Now, that's not the only definition of smarts, obviously, but it's a pretty good indicator of problem solving, logical reasoning, adaptability. So what is it about certain games that acts like a magnet for these analytical thinkers? Well, they usually demand complex strategy, thinking ahead, seeing patterns, calculating risk versus reward, and this is crucial, adapting really quickly to what your opponent does. These elements basically create a mental obstacle course, and that really appeals to people who love an intellectual challenge.
Right. And if you ask anyone to name a game that just screams intelligence, chess is probably the first one that pops into their head. It's like the classic intellectual battleground. It's ancient, but it's still such a powerful test of the mind. To be good at chess, I mean, you need incredible calculation skills, planning moves way ahead, a huge memory for openings and patterns, and just that strategic vision to control the game. It's really no surprise that the average IQ of competitive chess players is often way higher than average. You hear numbers over 1 in 20 quite a lot. You just have to look at grandmasters like Magnus Carlsen or Viswanathan Anand. Their ability to see the board, process these super complex positions, plan these intricate moves, it's astounding, really. It's like watching a top athlete, but, for the brain.
Exactly. And what's so amazing about chess isn't just how old it is, but its purity. It's a game of perfect information, everything you need. It's right there on the board, no hidden cards, no dice rolls. Success comes down purely to your cognitive horsepower, your working memory, holding all those possibilities, your executive function making the best choice, your ability to learn from countless patterns. Research has shown, pretty consistently actually, a strong link between chess skill and fluid intelligence. That's the ability to think logically and solve new problems, separate from what you've already learned. It explains why online chess, places like chess.com and Lichess, are just booming. They're attracting this whole new generation of young, really sharp players from all over the world. They're literally pushing the limits of human strategy. It really is a living, breathing testament to pure strategic thinking, and it's still evolving.
Okay, so that's chess perfect information, pure calculation. But what happens when you throw in, well, the ultimate unpredictable element, other humans? Because chess is definitely a brain burner, but it's not the only place smart people gather to test their wits, right?
Not at all.
This is where poker comes in. And it offers a completely different kind of challenge. Still tough, but different. A real-world IQ test, you could say. Poker isn't just strategy. It's this really rich mix of math, like probability, plus human psychology, reading people, bluffing, and managing risk really carefully. You're not just calculating the odds of your hand. You're trying to figure out what your opponent is thinking, what they might do, are they bluffing, and then you have to make these big decisions, bet, call, fold often, without knowing everything.
Precisely. And the real skill in poker, I think, goes beyond just knowing the math. It's that ability to model what's going on in your opponent's head. You're playing the player, not just the cards you were dealt. So you're thinking about what hands they could have, what their betting tells you about their strategy, and maybe even trying to manipulate how they see your hand. This sort of multi-level thinking, combining the math, the psychology, the risk under pressure.
Yeah.
That's what makes poker so intellectually demanding. It's constant adaptation. It's psychological warfare in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this blend of skills, that's why so many top poker players have really high IQs. Lots come from backgrounds like math or finance or computer programming, fields where analytical thinking is key. Poker adds that layer of, let's call it, human messiness and real-world decision-making that you just don't get in chess. It really tests how you think on your feet, handle uncertainty, manage pressure, skills that are super valuable outside the game too.
So, okay, chess, poker. But what about the modern gaming landscape, the digital world? I mean, we're not just talking about boards and cards anymore. Esports, competitive video games. They feel like a whole new kind of IQ test, and they require a different, but maybe just as intense set of mental skills. Take a game like StarCraft 2.
Hmm.
People call it chess at 300 actions per minute, 300 APM.
It's incredible speed.
Right, you're managing bases, armies, resources all at once, making huge strategic calls while also controlling tiny unit movements perfectly. It demands insane multitasking, planning on the fly, and executing complex stuff under massive pressure. It's a serious workout for your working memory, processing speed, and long-term strategy brain.
And that's just one example. Think about games like Dota 2 or League of Legends, the MOBAs. These aren't solo games. They're all about complex team strategy. 5 people working together, constantly adapting, communicating seamlessly. So you need that individual brain power for decision-making, sure, but you also need serious EQ, emotional intelligence.
EQ, right, that's a big one in team games.
Hugely important. Understanding your own reactions, reading your teammates, influencing opponents, calling shots effectively, keeping morale up when things get tough. It's vital for teamwork under pressure. And then you've got games like Counter-Strike, tactical shooters where you need lightning reflexes, yes, but also quick decision-making, spatial awareness, planning attacks, defending sites. Researchers are definitely arguing now that these fast esports need that mix of IQ and EQ. Communication, coordination, just as important as raw mechanics or speed. It shows how intelligence in modern settings is often really collaborative.
It's so clear these games are way more than just reflexes. They're incredibly deep intellectual challenges. They need the whole cognitive package.
Yeah.
But, this brings up something people often ask. Are all so-called brain games the same? We see all those apps, right? Lumosity, Peak, Elevate.
Yeah.
They advertise improving memory, focus, problem solving. Sounds good on paper.
It does sound good, and it's worth talking about. Look, those brain training apps, they can help sharpen very specific skills. Like playing their memory game might make you better at that specific memory game. But the research, well, it suggests there's a key difference. The improvements often don't really transfer much to broader real-world thinking or overall intelligence, whereas games with, let's say, higher stakes and more complex, dynamic situations like chess or poker, they seem to build more genuinely transferable skills.
Oh, okay, because they're more complex.
Exactly. They force you to use a whole range of mental abilities together in a competitive, unpredictable setting. You're not just drilling one function in isolation, you're orchestrating lots of them. So arguably, that makes games like chess and poker better at identifying people who already have strong, flexible cognitive abilities. Rather than just being tools to train narrow skills, the depth and the dynamic nature offer a much richer kind of cognitive workout, building a more robust, adaptable mind.
Okay, so we've looked at the classic board, the card table, the digital arena, pulling it all together now. Which game truly attracts the most high IQ players? It's obviously not super clear-cut, but based on everything we've looked at, some patterns emerge. Each type of game has its strengths, right?
Chess.
Pure strategy, perfect information, proven IQ link. Poker blends strategy, math, and that crucial human psychology element. A real-life simulation test, in a way. Esports, demand speed, adaptation, teamwork, spreading intelligence across the group. But if we have to point to where the highest concentration of these super sharp analytical minds seems to gather consistently, the research and the sources keep pointing back to those two giants, chess and poker.
Yes. And connecting that back, there's a strong argument made by many psychologists that poker specifically might be the truest test of IQ in a real-world sense. Why? Because it forces you to grapple with logic, math, patterns, plus human behavior adapting to constant change and making big decisions with incomplete information under pressure. It mirrors real-life decision-making under uncertainty almost perfectly, maybe more than any other game.
That's a really interesting point. But okay, let's tackle some common questions people might have right now. Like, do only super smart people play chess or poker?
Oh, absolutely not. Anyone can play them, and honestly, everyone probably should try them. They're fantastic for your brain, whatever your level. It's just that, well, people with higher IQs often find more consistent success because the games reward strong reasoning, good memory, fast processing. They naturally gravitate towards them because they offer the kind of deep intellectual challenge they enjoy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, another one, which is actually harder. Chess or poker. They both sound really tough in their own ways.
That's a great question because, yeah, they test different things. You could argue chess is harder for pure calculation and long-term strategic depth, perfect information analysis. But poker is arguably harder because it adds layers of unpredictability, the whole psychological game of reading people, bluffing, and making decisions when you don't have all the facts. It's managing probability in people.
Yeah.
So harder really depends on what kind of challenge you mean.
Right, different kinds of difficult. And what about improving our own minds? Can playing these games actually boost your IQ or at least make you sharper?
Yeah, definitely. Think of strategy games like chess and poker as cognitive training, serious training. They actively make your brain work on logic, spotting patterns, weighing risks, adapting. Playing them regularly can absolutely improve overall cognitive function. It strengthens those neural pathways, helps your working memory, your problem-solving speed, how you make decisions under pressure. It really is like taking your brain to the gym.
That's good to hear. Now, specifically for poker, you sometimes hear people dismiss it as just gambling. Is it really skill or is it just luck?
That's a critical point, and the consensus is clear. It's overwhelmingly skill-based. Sure, luck plays a role in the short term. Anyone can get lucky or unlucky on a few hands. That's undeniable. But long-term success, that comes down to strategy, understanding probability deeply, and having sharp psychological instincts. That's why the same top players are consistently successful over years. It's recognized as a game of skill in many places legally, precisely because strategy outweighs luck over time.
Good clarification. So for these really high-level players, the ones with serious IQ points invested in the game, where do they usually play? Is it Vegas casinos or somewhere else?
Well, you'll find skilled players everywhere, of course, but often the really high IQ poker pros gravitate towards more exclusive online clubs or specific high-stakes tournaments. They seek out environments where the competition is fiercest, where they can really test their advanced strategies against other brilliant minds. They want that intellectual challenge. And what's really fascinating through all this, I think, is how looking at these games reveals the complexity of intelligence itself. Different games bring out different strengths, pure logic in one, social intelligence and risk assessment in another. It's multifaceted.
So let's bring it home. Revisiting our main question, where do the sharpest minds gather? Our deep dive suggests that for classic, pure strategic thinking, chess is arguably king. But if you're looking for a test of real-world intelligence blending math, psychology, risk, uncertainty, then poker emerges as perhaps the ultimate high IQ game. Whether you lean towards chess or poker, though, it's clear. Highly intelligent people are drawn to games that push their logic and their adaptability. They want that cognitive edge tested. So here's a final thought to leave you with. If the ultimate test of intelligence isn't just what you know, but how fast and how strategically you apply it under pressure, especially when facing unpredictable humans, what other parts of our everyday lives are maybe acting as these hidden real-world IQ challenges, just waiting for us to notice and play the game? Something to think about. And hey, if you feel ready to test yourself against some truly sharp minds, maybe it's time to check out one of these fascinating intellectual arenas.